go. Grit equals grinding, getting better with timing. Units live, I'm striving.
But essentially, spoken word is performance art, right? That is word-based. It is an oral art that focuses on the aesthetics of wordplay, which we talk about, and intonation and voice inflection. Something like what Tony gave us in her grinding. It is a catch-all, which includes any kind of poetry recited aloud, including hip-hop, jazz poetry, poetry slams, traditional poetry readings, and can include comedy routines and prose monologues.
With fire, it's like that sweater is fire. Or it's lit, but it makes more sense to say it's fire, like that's a piece, like it's fire. Like saying, oh, this party's fire, like that's weird. Like you could say it, but like you would rather say lit.
With your teacher hat off, part of this social capital is the fact that he does have this authenticity. And if we know that later on that's going to be commodified, on the same token, we do want our students and ourselves to really own that piece. So I wasn't really nitpicking on how the cadence of how we delivered it, because I was just like, wow, this is dope. Students still being able to have this at this moment is really precious.
Yeah, and that's why the title of the slide is Spoken Word Culture as Capital. Because this is capital, right? This is something that people are going to invest in, people are going to buy, people are going to praise, people are going to utilize to create other opportunities to earn. And we have to recognize those before they do and capitalize on it for ourselves and our students.
I've used rap music in my class, and I find that students will just come to me with a song, a music, and like, oh miss, this is the one you should use next. It has stirred them. They see more relevance into it. I've also start using more technology. I have used memes and they love that. And I see all these ideas coming out of them.
Wisdom be leaking out my grapefruit troop. So troop is just what we call each other, right? Troop.
Right.
Hey, what's
like
up,
my
troop?
gang, my
yeah,
group.
my guys. Grapefruit is this thing, your noodle, your noggin, your whatever. So that's just another word. So wisdom is leaking out of it as I'm doing this word. You know, I'm trying to sound cool. You know, and you know, with just other words for my
And that's one of the ways your pen is extreme.
And this is what we do with poems when we take them in the classroom. When we give our students poems written by these men 400 years ago and 300, this is what we do. We put the poem in front of them and we are showing them how brilliant this person was, because they use all these terms, these metaphors, and maybe they just wrote it in the same way that he wrote his stuff. But we are making them come alive, and that's what
a lot of the jobs that our students will have in our future haven't even been created yet. So I think it's really important to teach them these skills beyond just these skills that we're teaching them, but teach them ways that they could potentially make money in the future.
What I find lots of times is that we struggle, especially when teachers endeavor in CRE, we struggle with the bedrock, which is skill development. To be able to point out the skill that the student used, even if it's unbeknownst to them, and then be able to develop it. So tomorrow's work is going to be able to develop that skill that I pointed out that you just used, and I'm going to have those things up. So we think that CRE is just throwing some adobo on the lesson, but until we get that our students have to engage in that skill development, and I'd offer, especially with the English language, they do. There's rules. You know when to use lit and when not to use lit. And it's our job to be like, this is the rule that you've used when you use lit in this way. You don't know that that's the rule you use? Your subject, verb, predicate, the same thing I'm trying to teach you, you just did it when you said X, Y, and Z. So that they can say, oh, I do know how to do this. It comes naturally. It's our job to point out the skill, but we have to first see what they bring into the classroom as something that's beneficial, that's capital, that's amazing.
How it's giving me more tangible ways to translate, to getting my kids to go to become more being able to analyze figurative language, right? There's figurative language in J. Cole, there's figurative language in Dunbar, there's figurative language in Shakespeare. And so by being able to use like hip hop as an entryway, I'm hoping that they'll be able, and it has worked, that they've been able to translate those same skills, that they're analyzing these lyrics that they know, that they maybe were just bopping their heads or just rapping to but didn't really analyze. They can then go and look at the rhythm in Shakespeare and then read it and then try to analyze some of the language there.
This previous teacher is no joke, but I'll get through it. And I know every day is worth it if they believe they can do it. I'm starting to see improvements. I'm starting to see learning. I see that hunger and the eye for knowledge. Yeah, the yearning. I see the... Okay.
See, I told you he